Good morning, students. Once again, day before yesterday, we had started this lesson, Footprints Without Feet, and we came to know that Griffin had made himself invisible and he was trying to sneak into the shops where nobody could see him, and he ate wine and cold meat, and then he went into the restaurant to hotel to sleep in a pile of quilts because it was very cold that day. And when he saw some people approaching, I'm starting from here again, he panicked and began to run. Panic means he was so afraid. He became so afraid that he began to run. They naturally gave chase. In the end, he was able to escape only by quickly taking off his newly found clothes, the clothes that he had robbed from the shops, because people could see him if he was wearing those clothes. But if he was invisible, if he wanted to be invisible, he should not wear any clothes. So once more he found himself invisible but naked in the chill January air. So it was the month of January, and it was a chilly winter day or winter night, and he was feeling very, very cold. This time he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company in the hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, the center of the theatre world. He soon found a suitable shop. He made his way, because he was invisible, upstairs and came out a little later wearing bandages around his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whiskers, and a large hat. So these things were all false, that he was wearing a bandage around his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whiskers. Whiskers means the mustachios, and a large hat. To escape without being seen, he callously attacked the shopkeeper from behind. Callously means in a very stylish manner he attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him of all the money he could find. Now see what he was doing. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. Inn is in Hindi we call it a dhaba, small restaurant, dhaba type. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event, because normally people stay in their own houses, they don't go to the inns. A stranger of such uncommon appearance. Uncommon means he was not looking a normal person, because he had a bandaged forehead, a bushy mustachios, a false nose, and dark glasses on his face. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. This is the word. The tongues wagging means they started chatting and talking about him in whispers. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly, but Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, "My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude." Means I want to stay alone. Solitude means in loneliness. I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face, because he had a bandage on his forehead. That was also very false. It was not true. He had not get hurt anywhere. He was trying to befool the people. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. Irritable temper means you cannot tolerate irritating person. But the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. He pretended, however, that he was expecting check to arrive at any moment. The check with money that was to arrive. He was just pretending. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. Study means study room. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. That means that this man, Griffin, was thieving that clergyman. Without making any noise, and with the poker grasped firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. Surrender, he shouted. Surrender means they have come to catch him. He should surrender now to the people. Then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife took under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. There wasn't a sign of anybody, yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. The husband and the wife, the clergyman and his wife could not see anybody there, but they saw that the money had been theft. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. Means the affair was extraordinary because they could not see the person who was trying to thieve that money. The landlord and his wife were up very early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped around the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. Investigate what? Where Griffin had gone. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. Cold. The beds are warm because when you are lying on the bed, they become warm. But when you are not lying on the bed, they become cold. So the beds appear to be very cold. That means the Griffin had not been lying on the bed. And stranger still, the clothes and bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her face. Then the bedroom chair became alive. Means he was throwing the chair at her. Springing into the air, it charged straight on her legs foremost. Means he hit her on her legs. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. That means he turned both of them, the husband and the wife, out of the room and he slammed the door. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stair in hysterics. Hysterics means she was very much shocked. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits. She never thought that it was Griffin, but she thought it was haunted by ghosts or some spirits, and that the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. My poor mother used to sit in that chair, she moaned, to think it should rise up against me now. If that chair belonged to her mother, she used to sit on that chair whenever she came to meet them, and now the same chair he had flung on the lady, and maybe it had broken. So students, today we'll do till here. Then day after tomorrow again we'll try to continue with this chapter. Till then, underline the difficult words and find out their meanings. Till then, bye-bye.